All right, we are live. So, welcome everybody. Today, I am joined by the incredible Miss Sarah Maslowski. For those that don't know Sarah, she has built a massive real estate business primarily using YouTube. She's closed over 150 million in production from YouTube. Um, Sorry, my dog just barked. She's closed over 100 million, 150 million from YouTube, and is also very active on Instagram and some of the other channels. But what I love most about what Sarah does is um, she focuses on attracting high intent relocation buyers through her content. So she doesn't chase views or go viral. She just focuses on putting out really good content. So today she is going to give us the time today to break down how she does it, what she does. And if you're starting a YouTube channel from scratch and don't know where to start, she's going to guide us through that. So Sarah, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rick. I am so excited to be here today to share with all of our agents and our lender friends out there that may be watching today exactly why you should be making YouTube content and why I believe that hands down, this is the number one platform that agents need to be on above any other social media platform for agents.
And what's great about what you said is we're here to help our realtor and lender partners is that you truly mean that. Like there's so many people I reach out to on social media and ask for tips or advice that don't respond. Like I've reached out to you for over 18 months, over 2 years, and you've always responded. You've always given tips, advice. You've always been kind and helpful. And you're just an amazing lady and appreciate you sharing all the stuff you're going to share with us today.
Well, thank you. It has made such a difference in my business and how I get to work with clients that there's enough business out there for everyone. And so I believe that everyone should be incorporating this business strategy into their lead generation so that they too can kind of have the freedom and flexibility that this has given me. And I want other agents to know about it.
So with all the platforms that are out there, why YouTube?
Yeah. So the reason that YouTube works so incredibly well is a couple of different things. One, the type of content that I specifically make and that works really well for real estate agents is making relocation based content. So that's long form content. We're talking about videos that are at least 8 minutes long in length, telling people what it's like to live in the areas that you serve. And you're not just telling them the good things, but you're also telling them the bad things that they need to know, cost of living, why some people choose to live in certain parts of town than others, really being that go-to resource knowledge for them for what it's like living in your area. And the reason that this type of content works so well is because you're matching what people are actually searching. So if you think about it, the types of people that are going online doing this type of research are people that are thinking about relocating to your area. And if you are one of the very few content providers that are showing up consistently with information about what it's actually like living in your area, well, it's giving them an opportunity to interview you and to watch your content and to learn all about the area. But it's also giving you an opportunity to show them that you're a trusted resource for the information that they need in your area so that when it is time for them to actually make a move, you've already built that deep trust with them because they're watching your videos week after week after week, or they're stumbling across your videos and then all of a sudden they're binge watching 10 plus videos to do a deep dive on where they're thinking about moving to. So the biggest reason is that you've got long form opportunities to match people where they're at and what they're searching for. The second reason why YouTube is so incredibly powerful is that even if a client or a potential viewer is never going on YouTube, let's just say they go to Google and they're researching making that move and they had no intent of watching a YouTube video. Well, Google owns YouTube. And so every time you search for something on Google, you have video search results that are provided for someone as a potential search result that they can click on. And so in those top search results, they're going to be served two or three YouTube videos that match what they're searching for on Google. So that's another way that you can get people into your sphere and into your content library of actually watching videos that you've made. The other way that YouTube works really hard for you is that YouTube is now one of the most favored sources that AI search engines have in terms of pulling information from YouTube videos and serving them up in those AI search results that whenever someone's asking, Gemini or ChatGPT, what do I need to know about making a move to, North Carolina? If you have videos that are matching what that person is searching for, AI is scrubbing those transcripts and it's pulling in that information from your YouTube videos. So you're having an opportunity to show up in AI search results. And again, this is another opportunity for someone to see your content without ever having actually gone on YouTube. And then the third way that I really like to use my YouTube videos to work even harder for me is we take the YouTube video, we take the transcript of that video, and we turn it into a blog. And we put that blog on our website. We embed the video along with it. So now that one YouTube video also provides me a long form blog post that I can post. And that's another way to show up in Google search results and in AI search results as well. There's not any other social media platform, Instagram, TikTok, that you can take that one piece of video content and have it work as hard for you as what YouTube videos do for you.
So on all the things you said, I kind of stopped for a minute and I Googled exactly what you said because you mentioned that, and I wanted to share my screen and show everybody exactly what we were talking about. I Googled here. I'm gonna start all over again. What do I need to know about moving to Georgia? That's where I want
Yeah.
to move to. So I click here, and something that you hit on that I coach agents and lenders all the time is that when you Google stuff and you scroll down, short form videos are popping up now. And
Yes,
what's the very first video that pops up? Do you know this lady?
I do. I do. Thankfully, it's one of my videos. Yes.
You're the very first video that pops up. That's incredible.
Yeah.
As someone who
So,
is home,
so yes, you're right. The short form videos are popping up more, or they just started to show up in these Google search results. And so that might change and evolve over time. But the best thing is that people that are searching for this information, they want to watch more than just a 30 to 60-second clip on what it's like living there. They want a deep dive. And so they're doing this deep research, and that's where these YouTube videos really play such a role in building that trust factor with clients is being able to, give them the down and dirty about what it's like living in your area. And oftentimes, after clients find your YouTube videos, they're not just going to watch one or two. They're likely deep diving and they're watching for several months before they ever even pick up the phone and reach out. However, the magic is that whenever they do reach out to you, they're saying things like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting an opportunity to talk to you. We feel like we know you already. We're so thankful that you make these videos. We're so excited to make a move. What do we need to do?" And then it's not of you're having to sell yourself to these people and get them to hire you as their buyer's agent, but rather, they're saying like, "What do we need to do to work with you? Can you take us on?" And you're like,
And
"I'm so excited that you're calling."
well, and to your point, so as a consumer, I click on and I've never looked up Sarah's videos. It's the very first time. I usually follow her on Instagram. So as I come down here and it shows other videos that have similar interest, 50% of the videos that pop up are your videos.
Yeah, and so
And
that's the magic is that over time you're building out this library. So you're posting one video a week, one long form video a week. And at the beginning, whenever I started doing this, I remember telling a kind of like a mentor, and I was like, "Oh, well, I only have like 10 videos posted so far." And he was like, "Yeah, but if you keep posting one a week, at the end of the year, you're going to have 52 videos out there on YouTube." Well, now I've been doing this for 5 years. So what's the math on that? At least over 250 videos on YouTube that I've made of the area.
at least over 52 times
And
five, so to
yeah,
200.
yeah. So the magic of this is that the way that the YouTube algorithm works for you and is that whenever a viewer gets finished watching your video, if they make it all the way to the end, YouTube is going to suggest to them a video that they feel like is going to be the best match. And you also have the ability to point them to
and some
another
of them
video that they should watch that's similar to
say,
what
I
they're
would love to
watching
hear some of the
currently.
differences you
So you're seeing here on the screen, you've got two videos that pop up at the end there.
Now,
This
does
is how
YouTube do
you
that
keep someone.
automatically, or do you have to do that?
So these are called end cards within YouTube. And there's several different formulas that you can go with. The one that we found works the best is the one that where you have two videos, one that is what YouTube thinks is the best for that person to watch next. And then the other one that we pop in there is one that we think they should watch next. So we're actually manually linking that next video. And so at the end of every video, I'm telling people like, hey, if this town didn't quite fit your budget, but you're looking for other areas that are similar to this, make sure you watch this video next. And then that's keeping them in this cycle so that they're just creating this binge-worthy experience, which is what YouTube loves. And the great thing about the YouTube algorithm is that the more people that are watching your videos and are getting to the end of your videos and doing things like this, the more information that YouTube is learning from this buyer or client behavior. And so what they're taking is they're taking that data, they're learning those buyer behaviors, and then they're going out into the YouTube world and saying, okay, are there any other viewers out there on YouTube right now that are acting the same way? Can we serve up your video in front of them and see if they're going to click on it? And that's the magic of YouTube is that you are eventually going to start reaching people that were never even searching directly for your content. But because their internet behavior on YouTube and other platforms were similar to what other people who watched your content were doing, YouTube is then able to go out and find even more really great people that are going to watch your content. So the YouTube algorithm is just so incredibly powerful.
So one of the things I was going to ask you and meeting with you today, the whole reason I booked this appointment to interview you was I had one major question. It's
Yeah.
like, how do I get business from YouTube? But most specifically, I'm making my videos in Instagram or social media, they could DM me. You really can't get DM'd through YouTube. So I was waiting for you to pause to ask the question, like, how do I get people to reach out to me? But as you were talking and as I was listening, I happened to scroll down and I saw that you had a pinned comment, which is freaking brilliant, where they could book a call with you. Is
Yeah.
that the primary way we're getting people to reach out?
This is the way that we are directing all of our clients to reach out to us. And we've tried many different ways through trial and error. There's pros and cons to everything. And whenever someone clicks on this link, it takes them to a Google form, which you're looking at right now on the screen, and it asks them a couple of qualifying questions. And the reason that we started implementing this is that I was getting phone calls all days of the week, all times of the day. And as a real estate agent, we always want to make sure that we answer our phone. But then I was getting stuck on a phone calls with maybe someone who had found me from YouTube, but they were planning on retiring in 5 years and they had a budget of 300,000. And, unfortunately, there's just not that those options in my area, especially not 5 years out. And so having them directed to that Google form allows us to do a couple of things on the back end. It allows us to put in quick screening measures to see how quickly do we need to get them on the schedule to have a phone call. Some people that reach out to you are going to be people that say, hey, we just got a job offer. We're going to be in town next weekend looking for houses. We need to be there within the next 60 days. That's obviously someone that I want to have a client consult with as soon as possible. And then on the other hand, you have people that are going to reach out that maybe they're planning for next year, they're retiring in the spring and they're thinking ahead. Well, that's someone that I can put on my schedule within the next week or two where I have a little bit of a more free day to do that. So directing them to this Google form has really helped schedule us better. And then it also allows us to take their information and quickly get it into our CRM system without having to worry about remembering, oh, this phone number just called in. It's a YouTube lead. Let me screenshot it. Let me remember to put that in later. We have automations that are set up so that this dumps into our CRM system. They immediately get a text message that says, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. We're excited to work with you. And it just really helps with our follow-up process a lot better. Another lesson that I learned with the phone call method is if you're just directing them to um, a phone number, or let's just say you're like, hey, my information is below, and you're giving them an email, you're giving them a phone number, your website, they're going to reach out to you in a multitude of different ways. And that's a little bit hard to keep track of, and it's hard to manage and get them into your CRM system. Once we implemented this form, 95% of our leads follow what we tell them to do. They fill out this form, and it just has made our life so much easier. I've seen some agents give a Calendly link for them to book a call through a Calendly link. My main objection that I have with that is that you're giving your calendar control to clients and you don't quite know if they're a real qualified lead that needs to be booking that time on your calendar. And so this allows us control of when to book them, but
That's
still serve the
smart.
clients in a really, really great way.
Well, and then like I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced, and as you're saying this, it makes so much more sense. I'll experience people booking me and then not showing up,
Yeah.
or right. So then I just lost a spot for somebody else because I allowed them to control my calendar. To your point, that's very smart.
Yeah. And inevitably, you're going to end up getting leads over time. Like this is going to grow. In the beginning, it's going to be slow. The reason for that is that the YouTube algorithm is learning what type of content you're making. They're finding the right audience. And so the growth at the very beginning is slow, and that's normal. And the leads are going to be slow in the beginning. And then eventually that's going to start, giving you that exponential growth. With that, you're going to get a wide range of leads. Some people like I said, that are ready to go. And then you're going to have some people that maybe they are interested in renting for that first year before they want to make a purchase. For me, and I don't know what your market is like, but rentals are different in every single market. It's not really something that's time advantageous for me to sink into a rental, but it is someone that I want to get into my ecosphere because I want to stay in touch with them because eventually they are going to buy.
Mhm.
So by having that rental information up front, we have like a prepackaged email, helpful checklist, resources that we can send them that's still providing value of, hey, here's where to get help for rentals and here's how we can best serve you. And in the meantime, we're going to stay in touch and keep up to date on everything that's happening here in the area so that when you are ready, we're still in communication.
Wise.
And so that has taken off the calendar of going through an entire hour-long buyer consult just to kind of realize that they're interested in renting. And, it's the height of the spring market, and you don't really have time to have an hour consult with someone that's renting. So it's a way to still provide value. And so directing people to this forum has just been very, very helpful for us.
No, this is game changing. I wish I would have came to your YouTube page months ago. I probably could have saved myself a lot of time. All right. So you mentioned if you were to start from scratch and you post a video a week, you may not get a lead that first week. So myself, I would love to start doing this and generating some business. But for those agents that are watching this all around the nation, hopefully we have tens of thousands watching and learning. What would you do today if you just start over and do this?
So if I had to start over and do this, I would go into this knowing that it's going to take a good 3 to 6 months in order to
Okay.
start receiving leads. On average, it takes agents about 3 months of consistently posting. And
Now,
the
is that
key,
because you're posting one video a week? What if you bumped up to two videos a week? Could you cut that in half?
you could post 2 videos a week. I personally don't think that that would be worth the time investment, the energy, and the effort. The
Okay.
reason it takes on average those 3 months to get the first lead is that all of this growth is 100% organic. So YouTube is doing a couple of things on the back end. They're learning that, hey, you're someone that we can trust as a content creator that's going to consistently put out videos week after week after week. So if we push your video out there and we try to go find people to watch it and they do watch it, are you going to come back the next week with another video that I can go back to those same people and say, hey, she just put out another video. You should watch
Gotcha.
this one again. If
So
you're
they got to make
inconsistent,
sure that you're consistent and you're not going to be flaky 3 or 4 weeks in when you get busy,
that's
if you
right.
get busy.
Correct. So they want to know that you're consistent with that content. The second thing that having a week apart in those videos really does well is that it's giving that YouTube algorithm time to go find out who is the actual audience. And they're testing things out on the back end and they're putting it in front of different people and different audience types to see who actually clicks on it. And then of those that click, who actually watches. So they're getting that data and that information, and then they're trying to go out there and find more people that are behaving similarly like that. That's why the growth is a little bit slow in the beginning. And if you're anything like me, once you start posting these videos, you are going to be obsessed with going and clicking and checking on your analytics on the back end to see how many people have actually watched your videos and then how many people have subscribed to your channel. And you're going to be like me and you're going to be very disappointed when you see how low those numbers are in the very beginning. In fact, it's like painful. You're feeling like you're putting content out there and nobody's watching it. You'll see that maybe 10, 12, 13 people have watched your videos. Maybe you might get a little bit more traction and get some double digit growth out of that. And it's going to feel discouraging and it's going to be time for you to post another video the next week and you're going to doubt yourself and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? No one's watching. It's okay. And I want you to hear that that's incredibly normal. and you just have to push through that slow growth in the beginning because there's nothing more magical than you're in that 3 month mark, your views are still pretty low, and you're going to get someone that's going to fill out your form or that's going to reach out to you and call you and say, hey, just watched your videos. We're thinking about making a move. And then it's just like the light bulbs are going to click for you, and you're like, oh my gosh, it is working. And the magic behind these YouTube videos is that you don't necessarily need your videos to have thousands and thousands of views. It's incredibly normal for these videos to only have a couple hundred views. Some of them over time, the longer they're out there, the more people watch, are eventually going to get more views. But you want the right people watching your videos. And so the magic here is that you would rather have a couple hundred people that have a high intent of moving to your area watching your videos versus thousands of people that would never consider moving to your area and they're just watching your videos because they think you're entertaining. Well, at the end of the day, we're not content creators being entertainment providers. We're real estate agents and we actually need people reaching out to us. So I like to tell agents, do not pay attention to the vanity metrics, which are our subscribers and our views. We want to measure, are people actually reaching out to us and are we having conversations as a result of these YouTube videos? That's the true measurement of success when it comes to our YouTube channels. The views, the subscribers, that is naturally going to come over time. And this is just all just part of the normal process of making YouTube videos.
Now, I've interviewed several people on YouTube. I've been to several workshops, classes, conferences, and I got to say, your description of how to do it is probably the best I ever heard. You do an amazing job simplifying it and explaining it that makes a ton of sense. Like I feel like a lot of these others overcomplicate it, but one of the best explanations I've ever heard. So I hope people watching this are paying attention and taking that advice because that is a great explanation of how to make it work. And I didn't many of the things you said I ever looked at from that lens, but it makes a ton of sense. At the end of the day, our goal is higher quality conversions, higher quality leads, and you're going to get that from that consistency of posting and from posting content that's going to engage with others.
Yeah,
Right.
and I myself will fall victim to this sometimes. I will go and see other content creators and see their views and have moments of jealousy of like, how do they get all those views? And I have to coach myself through this and go back to say, are we getting leads and are we getting closings from YouTube? And hands down, absolutely we are. And so, 60, 70% of my business comes directly from YouTube. And so it's really drastically changed the way that I do business. I used to do it, the very traditional way, a lot of open houses, cold calling, circle prospecting, calling expireds. Back in the day, ran Facebook ads, all of those ways where you can actually get business. And yet it's a lot of hard hustle and grind. And so, making one video a week and putting it out there and then waiting for people to reach out to me is a much better freeing way of doing my
Well,
business.
it's also a much longer way because, like you said, one video a week. It's going to take me 20 videos, 20 weeks to see the return, but it's a better return, is what you're saying.
Yes. And so another magical thing about these YouTube videos that I didn't talk about before is that unlike any other social media platforms, if you look at Instagram, TikTok, very rarely will Instagram or TikTok show you a video that someone made a year ago, right? They're favoring videos that are incredibly recent. And so, in
Smart.
order to
Yep.
keep getting in front of people, you have to pump out content every single day to stay in the algorithms machine and the flywheel. With YouTube, their algorithm is much different. They're going to find the video that matches best what the viewer is searching for, regardless of when it was made. So we can go in the back end of my YouTube analytics account and look at the most recently watched videos. And some of those videos are going to be from 2 years ago. The reason why is it's the best video that matches what that person was searching for. So this type of evergreen content creation is just another magical point behind why YouTube is so great, is because you're making a video and it's working for you again and again and again, time over time.
Another thing you said just blew my mind. So I'm always on YouTube watching like motivational videos because in this business, I don't know about you, but some days are a little bit more
Yeah,
depressing than
we
others.
need the motivation. Yes.
So I like to watch like sports motivational videos, Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, like talk about just keep doing the work, forget the results today, keep doing the work, do the process. So I'm watching these videos and I see a video of somebody interviewing another sports person I follow. And I'm like, oh, when did that guy interview? Was this recent? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So to your point, I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right, is that your content will get pulled up years later and constantly refreshed as people are looking. And that
That's
is
right.
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I were an agent
I
and I was
can't wait for this
starting
call to end
today,
so I can start making videos now.
yeah. Yeah. So if I were an agent making videos today, one of the things that I wish I would have done differently when I first got started is, like you said, you have to put out a video every single week. And so sometimes that can be really hard to keep on top of, especially when you get really busy. I wish I would have filmed and recorded 3 to 4 videos and had those ready to go before I started posting. That way, you're building yourself a runway with your videos so that when life gets in the way, when things go sideways with business deals or kids get sick or you get sick, you're not struggling to think, oh gosh, I'm supposed to put out a video this Saturday. Here it is Thursday, and I haven't even filmed it yet. So you build yourself up that runway of always staying ahead on your content that you're putting out there. Now, one thing I learned the hard way at the very beginning too was that you are going to have to leverage out the editing piece of this lead generation strategy. So the videos themselves, they don't have to be highly polished and super well done, but they do need to be edited. And you're going to have to leverage that out to an editor. Now, those first couple of videos that I posted on my channel way back when, I did edit those myself, but I quickly learned that if I was going to stay on top of this and put out a video every single week, there's no way that my time was worth spending hours trying to edit a long form video. And my time would be much better spent leveraging this out. There's
But
lots of
if
different ways where you can find editors. You can find them online through websites like Fiverr or Upwork. You can also find, a young person in your world or maybe someone locally. Um, Now, the results are going to vary. I've heard from a lot of different agents that try to find someone locally that they'll reach out, and people that maybe do like wedding videos or real estate photographers will offer to do the editing, and their cost per hour is going to be a lot higher than maybe somebody else's online is going to be. I have found that on average you can find some really good editors between $100 to $150 a video, and sometimes, a little bit cheaper than that.
now, if you were starting off though, like brand new, you want to start off doing it, like you said, you edited your videos yourself from the beginning. If you had to start over, would you still do that? Or would you say no, get the editor, just make it easier on yourself and get that from the beginning?
So, one thing to know about me is I am incredibly notoriously frugal with my money. I hate to spend money on leverage. I've since, in my 7, 8 years of real estate, have learned to think differently when it comes to leverage and hiring things out. Um, and even me being incredibly frugal and still very lean in my business. And I started this, I was only 2 years in and still kind of in that mindset of not knowing where my next deal was going to come from and with a very lean pipeline. And so, I was still hustling after every single deal. So spending $100 per video to have that edited felt incredibly expensive to me at the time. And yet it was only 3 videos in where I realized it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm trying to edit a video and I need to go to bed because I have clients to serve the next day and I'm not an editor. Yeah, so make your life easier, and if you can, just go ahead and leverage that out from the get-go. I promise you it's going to make this path a lot easier and set you up for success in the long run.
Awesome. Great answer.
Yeah.
So starting over from scratch, obviously you've been doing this a while, like you probably see content everywhere you turn, like, oh, I'll make a video on that. I'll make a video on that. If you had to start over, what are like some core videos you would make like that first 6 months?
Yeah. So when you're first establishing your channel, you're going to want to make sure that you have content that serves as the basis for anything that someone could want to know about moving to your area. And so, Rick, you had a really great idea prior to this, and you were like, "Hey, let's put together, something that we can give out to people that's going to help them with this." So actually have your first 60 days on YouTube and your checklist ready to go. And it kind of walks you through setting up your actual channel and some of the key points that you need. But then it also walks you through those very first videos that you need to make. And so those very first videos that you're going to make are going to be things like, what is it like living in your town? So 5 things you need to know before moving to blank. What's the real cost of living in blank? And so those types of what feel like general information are kind of set the foundation so that it's piquing someone's interest and they're like, okay, I want to learn more about this town. So then they have another video to go watch after that. Um, After making YouTube videos for about 6 months to a year, you are going to feel like, okay, I've already made a video about what it's like living here. How do I continue to make content about areas when I've already made videos about this? So the magical thing about YouTube is that you never know what someone's very first video is going to be. You never know if it's a video that someone served to them 2 years ago, or is it a video that the YouTube algorithm served that you just made. And so you don't know where they're entering in your journey of content and what they have seen and haven't. At the beginning, whenever I started making this, I was thinking that people were kind of watching in sequential order. Like, oh, they're waiting every week for my new video to drop. And that's not the case. So remember, YouTube is serving up different suggestions for them. And so they're randomly kind of clicking around on your content. A lot of what you end up making is essentially the same video again and again and again, just slightly different title, slightly different order, but the content, the meat and potatoes of the actual video is largely the same. Your viewers do not know that though. And so they don't consume it the way that we think about it from our point of view. Um, they're consuming this for the first time, and you may feel like you've beaten a horse to death when it comes to a certain topic. But you're going to hear from clients like, "Oh my gosh, I loved that video that you just made. I didn't know that." And you're like, "How did you not know that? We've talked about this for
I've,
months
I've
and months and
made
months."
I've made 10
Um,
videos on it.
yeah. So you just have to keep that in mind as you're making this content.
So now I'm thinking I should make my short-term video into a long-term video. So what Sarah's referencing is before the call, I shared with her a video I made on how to appeal your property tax or how to file your homestead exemption into Cobb County. Right? That's what you're referencing?
Well, yeah, but we
Oh.
also talked about giving a giveaway or something that people could tangibly take away from this. So I have a download
Oh.
for viewers
Oh, okay,
for the
okay. Yeah,
first
for
60
that.
days on YouTube.
Gotcha. But yeah, so that could be a video is going step by step on doing that. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely so.
all right. So another idea, it's something I wanted to bounce off of you, and I don't know if realtors think about this in this lens, but this is a lens that I think of. So, like when I talk to a buyer, I have a certain process I take my client through. I like to jump on a Zoom call and like to go over the pre-approval letter with them. And I'm thinking to myself, like this, I'm really rare. Not a lot of people do this. But should I make a YouTube video explaining like what a pre-approval letter is? But then somebody else might steal my idea. But like, who cares? Because we're not going to do it anyways. So, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. So the lender's perspective for long form content is a little bit different than consumer behavior of what it's like from an agent's perspective of making the relocation type thing. But the one thing that I have found is like some of our best content ideas come from our actual clients themselves. So the more people start asking
Stories.
questions that you're getting into your world from watching these things, from watching your videos, and you start working with these clients, they're going to start asking you questions, and you're like, I thought that was obvious, or that's different. Like, oh, I didn't realize that this is a completely different process here in Georgia than how it is where you're moving from in Illinois. Oh, we should make a video about that. And so that's kind of like where some of our video topics, a lot of our video topics have come from is like, what do you need to know before buying a house here in Georgia? And we're going over all the different things that we've had clients tell us that are different. Same thing with lenders. Whenever you have people, all those questions that you have people ask you all the time that you just assume that maybe people do know, obviously they don't know. And so it's a great opportunity to make content. And in the content that you're making, you're saying things like, oh, we had clients that ask these questions and here's what we've learned from working with them. And so you're kind of cueing to the audience, hey, we work with people just like you that watch our content. And so you're subtly reinforcing the fact that you're want to work with people that are watching this type of content.
Great advice. And the biggest takeaway there that I took was tell the stories that you get daily or weekly from your current clients. Because to your point, not everybody knows what upfront mortgage insurance is. Not everybody knows what an appraisal or an inspection or the difference between the two, or prepaids are, et cetera, et cetera. This conversations we have every single day explaining it. That's a great YouTube video.
Yeah. And to that point, Rick, whenever you're making this content, especially from the lens of a real estate agent, whenever you're talking about things local, you have to keep in mind that the people that are watching your content are not local. So if there's local phrases or acronyms of how you refer to certain areas, and that just naturally rolls off the tip of your tongue and you just keep going, but you don't stop to explain, hey, we call this area, I don't know,
ITP.
OTP versus ITP. And you're saying, oh, well, you're living OTP and you just keep going, but you don't stop to explain what that is. Well, your consumer doesn't know. And so you really have to kind of treat them as if you're talking to someone brand new that knows nothing about your area.
Yep.
And that type of little bit of tidbit and insider information and insight is what really is going to set you apart from other people that are out there or just really help build that trust and connection with the people that are watching your videos.
That reminds me when I first moved to Atlanta, I was living in Lilburn,
Yeah.
and I met somebody like, what part of the city you live in? I'm like, oh, I live in Lilburn. Oh, OTP? No, I live in Lilburn. I didn't know what OTP meant.
Yeah. And for those of you watching, OTP means outside the perimeter and ITP is inside the perimeter. So the perimeter of 285 that goes around Atlanta. That's what a lot of locals here refer to kind of get an idea of where you live.
Um, Another thing I think you do an amazing job at, and I want to kind of touch on, is that you do a lot of content on like what's going on in the city, what's coming up, new warehouse. Talk a little bit about your perspective there on that type of content.
So 80% of your videos that you make are going to attract people that are relocating from out of state or outside of your area. The reason for that is those are the people that are naturally doing that type of research. And so the reason that your content is not attracting locals is that locals typically are not going online searching for where's the best place to live in Metro Atlanta. They either inherently have that information or they're asking friends and family. But what they are looking for when they go online, or the videos that have an opportunity to get served up to locals, are information about what is happening locally in the area. So every 4 to 6 weeks, we put out a video on any type of updates or things that are happening in the market and recent developments that have broken news that we can educate locals about. And that's serving two audiences. It's serving locals, but then it's also letting people from out of state or people that are relocating to the area, letting them know that, hey, you're someone that keeps up to date on all of this stuff and that you're the go-to expert in the area. Um, and so that's been really, really powerful to provide value to locals and get into their world, but then also have some time to talk about something fun and kind of outside the norm of what's happening so that, it all kind of works together.
Love that. Um, you mentioned something interesting earlier in the conversation that views don't really matter as much as people think. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So
And you
at
may
the
have
end of
talked
the
about it a few
day,
times, but I wanted to specifically get to like um, how how you focus on going viral. Maybe I'm phrasing the question wrong, but like because from time to time you get those viral videos. And those you love because you feel good, you got a
yeah.
video that got 50,000 views, but a lot of times those little ones help tee that up.
Yeah. So viral videos or videos that outperform others can be a really great indicator of, okay, this really connected with an audience and I need to double down and make more of this type of content. Um, but then there's also going to be certain buckets of content or types of videos that you make that never will get that type of reach. And it's okay because it's intended for a much smaller audience. For example, um, I know that if I make a video on what it's like retiring here in North Georgia or the best active adult communities, that those videos are always going to underperform my other types of content on my channel. I know that from testing it time and time again and studying my analytics and knowing my numbers on my videos. However, retirees are one of the biggest lead sources of clients that we actually help. So, what that tells me is that it's okay that these are not getting great views. They're reaching the right people, and the people that actually are watching, those are the ones that are reaching out to us. So it's okay if I'm going to make a video on active adults and I just already know in my mind, hey, this isn't going to do as well as what my new construction videos are going to do because everyone loves the new construction videos. And yes, we get leads from those, but um, it's not as fruitful as our active adult content bucket provides for us. And so these are just things that you just kind of know over time and you assess. I can give you a great story on an agent who had a really great successful YouTube channel and he was consistently putting out content and he happened to make a video on condo HOAs in Florida and that video blew up. And it was, around the time of the collapse of the HOA condo down in Florida and kind of tightening of regulations in Florida around condos.
Mhm.
And so he's like, okay, this video did really well. I'm going to make another one. And so for weeks, he just made HOA condo type videos because that one video went viral. And he kept getting all of these great views and all these great feel good analytics from YouTube. And then after a couple of months, he looks up and realizes, hey, I haven't gotten one single worthwhile lead in months for my YouTube channel. And it just goes to show that you're either entertaining people for fun and you're doing that because you want to feed the YouTube algorithm in that way, or you're actually making content that's connecting with the right people that's going to cause them to reach out. And so he had to stop and kind of evaluate and go back to this old way of making videos because he'd kind of gotten off track as far as who his ideal audience is and why he's making videos.
No, great advice. Also, I noticed you sent me a presentation of some of the stuff you do, and we talk about equipment to make videos.
Yeah.
People think they need a fancy camera, they need to spend a lot of money, but you started off with what?
Yeah. So up until about 6 months ago, 98% of my videos were filmed on my iPhone. And yeah, just one of those. When I got started, I am not very technically advanced when it comes to putting, puzzle pieces together like that. So I did not have a fancy schmancy camera. I told you I was very frugal. I didn't want to go spend $1,000 on a camera. And so when I found that other agents were just using their iPhones, I was like, great, have that. So set that up on a tripod. You're going to need like a box light or a key light is what they're called. Those are very inexpensive from Amazon. You're going to need a good microphone. There's lots of great inexpensive options out there. And really the hardest part about making the content is getting it into the hands of an editor that can put it all together. And when I say getting it into the hands, I mean, you got to find the editor. So that's really the hardest part outside of getting over your limiting beliefs and making the content. One of the biggest forms of kind of hesitation, limiting beliefs that I hear from agents is that they hate the way they sound, they don't like the way they look on camera. And here's the great thing. When I first got started and I saw that other agents were having success doing this, I naturally was nosy, went and looked at their channel, watched some of their videos because I wanted to see like what magical secret formula did these agents have because I wanted to copy it. And when I went and saw their videos, what I found was that they were okay. Some of them were very boring. And some of the editing, I was just like, really? That's it? That's what does the job? And that provided a lot of great inspiration though, because I realized that you didn't have to show up and have like some magically produced edited video. You don't have to be a camera anchor person, news anchor. You just have to show up as yourself, however that may be, naturally be yourself, give information, provide value, and keep doing that week after week after week. And people are going to connect with it. And so it just was really freeing to me to see there's lots of different ways people do this, There's lots of different budgets that people use to do this. And at the end of the day, it all kind of boils down to the same thing. Are you showing up week after week? And are you putting out, videos with really great information?
And not to call you out. Hopefully this doesn't come off the wrong way, but for me, anyways, when I watch my videos, I'm like, I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. I talk way too fast. Blah 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 blah. I'm sure you love everything about yourself, right? Like you've never second guessed anything. Like we all. I'm getting that. We all have the same
Yeah,
insecurities.
no. And I don't know anyone that is successful with this form of lead generation that says, oh my gosh, I killed that video. I loved it. That's a banger. Can't wait to go show this to all my friends and family. Let's all sit around the living room and watch myself. Anytime I'm in a room and a video of mine starts playing, or I accidentally go to my YouTube channel and the intro video starts playing, and I hear myself and I'm just like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, how quickly can I turn that off? And that's normal. And that feeling will go away a tiny bit, but it's never really going to go away. And so it's really something that you just have to get over and realize that you're not making videos for you. You're making videos for the people that you're serving. And what are you doing by not showing up for those people and not giving them this really great information and the opportunity to work with you that you have week after week, all by keeping it to yourself because you don't like the way that you look or sound on camera.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine when you first started making videos, they were terrible. You
Oh my
sucked at it.
gosh, so bad. Yes.
That's just part of the process. We're gonna
Yeah,
suck at
you can go
everything we do.
back
Yeah.
and watch on my channel. Those videos are still up. Even before I landed on this relocation style content that actually works, my other videos are still up. And you can see I was fumbling my way through trying to figure out how to make this work. And those videos are bad. And just naturally, you're going to get better over time.
Thank
You just
God for
can't
editors.
compare someone else's 1,000 rep to your very first time in the gym. It's going to get better.
So on to that point, I recently hit over 1,000 posts on Instagram, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Recently hit over 1,000 posts, and one of the biggest takeaways I've learned on Instagram, obviously YouTube's a little bit different, but one of the biggest things I've learned is having call to actions, like DM me payment and I will send you this, DM me roadmap. Those dramatically increase engagements and make my content much stronger. Similar in YouTube, because I asked that because I made a YouTube video one day, and my 7-year-old daughter is like, "Daddy, you forgot one thing." I'm like, "I did? You forgot to say follow and subscribe." I was like,
Yes.
"Okay."
So the good news is that some things have changed on YouTube where it's not like, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, all the like constant reminders as what it was maybe 10 years ago. And yet, people are naturally going to like and subscribe. It is helpful to let them know in the videos of, hey, I put out videos just like this every single week. Make sure you're subscribed so that you get my next video that drops next week. So that you need to give people a reminder. You got to teach people what to do because they're just along for the ride. And so the very cool thing about this whole strategy is that the actual videos themselves are a huge long form call to action. You're providing value, 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 telling them how you help people relocate here, that you're a real estate agent helping people just like them. And then you're just simply reminding them one or two times in the video of like, hey, if you're thinking about making a move here, I help people just like you make the move here to North Metro Atlanta area. Here's how you get in contact with me. My link is below this video in the pinned comment. Click on that and we look forward to talking with you.
That
Um,
sounded so natural, like you said that once or twice.
that's right. Yes. So it's just very easy. And because people don't want you to hard sell them, you don't need to hard sell them. Your content is the hard sell. You're just telling them how when they're ready to reach out to you. And so what that does is it creates a pipeline of people that want to talk to you. These aren't people that they're filling out that form or they're giving you their phone number and then you're having to chase them down 10, 12 phone calls, people ghosting your text message to then have to never hear from them again. No, they are like, oh my gosh, we're available tomorrow at 5, and then they're telling you these great things like, we're so happy to talk to you. An expired listing has never told me that before.
No, and as I'm hearing you say that, like as a lender, I'm thinking like I got to work so hard so the customers can shop me. I got to work so hard to build rapport, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if they're following on YouTube and they're reaching out to you, like you've already built rapport.
Right. Yeah. And so one of the things that we ended up having to change in our process is that um, uh, I learned this again through trial and error is that I used to do my consults with clients over the phone. And then when they would come into town to go house hunting, some of these clients I realized our first visit would be at a new construction model home. And so I'm there waiting to meet my clients at 2 o'clock, and I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm like looking out at the other people that are getting out of their cars. And I'm like, does that look like Bob and Mary? Nope, nope, nope. Are they looking for me? Nope. And then I realized, like, oh, they know what I look like, but I don't know what they look like. And so we started switching our consults to Zoom consults, and that opened up another couple of great doors for us. One, it allows you to kind of deepen that connection. You get an understanding of what they look like so that you can recognize them. And the other thing that that does is that it allows you to just completely focus on your clients and the questions that you're asking them. You've got AI note takers in the background taking down all the important notes that you need so that that way you don't have to worry about scribbling down their dog's name and their daughter's name, because you know that you're going to have that later on, and that just gives you something that you can copy and paste into your CRM system, and it tells you what you said that your next steps are going to be. And it's just really, really magical. So we try our absolute hardest to get people onto a Zoom consult, and that really is helpful.
No, it's funny you said that. I am 100% all in on Zoom consults. If I can't record the conversation, like we're not gonna have a chat. If you can't jump on a Zoom consult with me, I am not the lender for you. Go talk to the discount broker. Because to that point, like I want to have good notes, I want to have good follow up, but also it helps me during the process and afterwards provide better service. You are able to provide better service because you took better quality notes.
Yeah. And in the world in which we're living in today, when so many things are automated, so much information is exchanged with AI, any opportunity to still have a human connection with someone, I think it matters and means a lot more because we're missing so much of that in our day-to-day lives. And so I think that's, a really great thing to do.
Awesome. Well, I've taken so much of your time and I can keep talking to you just from my own YouTube and improving myself. But I want to be respectful of your time. What do you want to leave everybody with today?
Yeah, I have a specific handout
Okay.
that I put together for the audience of your first 60 days on YouTube, and it deep dives into those exact videos that you need to make. Um, I don't know if we're able to put up like a QR code at the end of this. And
You want to share your screen? Share the screen. Put it up.
yeah, okay, did not have that ready,
Oh,
but
okay,
you
well,
can,
then take your. I'll keep talking then. You get it ready. I'll talk.
okay,
um,
all right.
So one of the things I'll say is that for me, always trying to put content up, I don't know what to say sometimes. So I follow others that put content up in my space, like Sarah or other like my buddy, What's a Mortgage? He's a mortgage guy out of California. And a lot of times I just look at their content, it's like, oh, I like that, and then I'll copy it and kind of make it in my own. So what I'm saying is don't feel like you have to, if you're watching this, like you have to start over, reinvent stuff. Many people like Sarah, myself, other influencers out there. I mean, not that I'm an influencer, but other people that are using social media, we're all getting ideas from others that we've learned along the way. Feel free to take our ideas or our content and make it your own and replicate it. So don't feel like you have to completely reinvent the wheel if you're out there doing this. I know that I've reached out to Sarah and I'll be like, hey, I love that piece, or I'll comment on it. And I think I've told you one time when we first met, like, I love what you posted. I hope you don't mind if I copy it. And you're like, no, go over, knock yourself out.
Yeah, so the great thing is that um, everyone out there that's creating content that's doing it well, they've all gotten heavy inspiration from lots of other content creators that are also making the same type of content doing really, really well. And that's the same thing that I did. I went and found, other agents that were having success. I saw what videos they were making. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I can make a video on that in my area. And I would go and kind of duplicate and copy what they were doing. Here's the thing, you just want to make sure that you're not doing it someone directly in your own backyard because then, lines get a little bit blurry there. But there's so many great, people across the country doing great things that you have lots of options to choose from.
Yeah.
Uh,
in the lending space, I even took the people that I follow that I like, not just as lenders, but like financial advisors. They're giving great advice for families. And I took those people, I took some like a realtor like you that's putting out great content, and I had ChatGPT do deep research to how you're making your content, what the flow is, what your hooks are, et cetera, and help me develop my own. So it's not like I'm copying your stuff exactly, but it allows me to copy the framework of how you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you
Okay,
ready,
got
Scared?
the
All right.
QR code ready. So here is the code, and that'll take you to a landing page. Input your information, and we will get that um, guide sent out to you.
Oh, I am doing it right now. I'm testing it to make sure it works. And it's really easy. You just ask for a very simple, and you're using a Google Forms for this as well?
So that is through an automation through our email provider called Flowdesk.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's a really quickly, easy way to do that.
So on this thing right here, do you find, because I've always didn't know how to give stuff out on YouTube. Is it easier to say to put it on the YouTube video, scan this QR code for your guide to this versus comment guide in the chat and you get the guide?
So a little bit of a different audience and different strategy. I think for your audience, this can be really powerful. The really cool thing that's kind of evolved over the past couple of years is that now, like over 50% of my views will come from people watching on a video. So one of the changes that I need to make in my actual delivery is that instead of saying like, hey, click the link in my pinned comment, then they're having to like go get their computer or go find the video again later on to do that when they've just been searching or clicking on stuff through their TV remote. But if I had a QR code at the end of my videos that said, hey, click the link to my pinned comment or scan this QR code and have the QR code take them to my form, you're just making it as easy as possible as you can for your clients.
Right.
So, yes, this is a great idea. In the lending space, I'm sure there's a lot of great ways to give a lot of value through guides and stuff like that to get people into your world. With relocation style content from what works from an agent point of view, I'm not a huge fan of relocation guides or anything like that. And the reason is that if people have a high intent of making a move and they are going to follow through with that, those are the people that will just fill out the form. They'll raise their hand and say, yep, ready to give you my information. Here's what I'm doing. I have found that the people that are downloading a guide are people that are either really early in the process or there's someone who doesn't have a very high intent of making a move, and then you're just creating more work for yourself to then track down and follow up with those people again and again and again. I personally only want people jumping into my world if they filled out that form that's
Gotcha.
where they've answered those questions.
It's great advice. Makes a
Yeah.
ton of sense.
Yeah.
Man, I hope people are staying to the end and watching this because this is all really good stuff. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks
And
so
the
much for
link
having me
definitely
on
worked.
today.
Oh, we got to find another way to bring you back. Hopefully this video blows up on Inman and they want more. So I hope
That's right.
let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, thank you again so much for your time. Everybody scan that QR code, get her free content piece, and follow Sarah on YouTube, Instagram, anywhere else.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I give a lot of great tips just like this for agents, helping them get started. You can find me at YouTube with Sarah. That's Sarah with an H over on Instagram. And so I'm posting daily over there on what you need to know to get started and helping you along the way.
All right, I'm gonna pull that up really quick because I want to have it up so people can see, make sure they're the right one. We don't need them following the wrong Sarah.
Yeah, so this is something that I've just recently started because I'm passionate about teaching and coaching other agents on how to do this. And what better way than to show up on social media and let you know what you need to be doing.
And you're giving away the exact method you've used with
Yes,
that.
so occasionally I am hosting free online webinars and giving you the behind the scenes details, videos to make, mistakes I've made so that you don't have to make them, all the things.
Awesome. Well, thanks again so much for coming on. Hopefully everybody takes advice and grows their business from following you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks, Ray.